Well, hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess, and today we're in my kitchen and we're doing another My Canning Adventures and My Home Canning 24. So this is a product by J.C. Potter that recently started showing up on our grocery store shelves, and it has no preservatives or MSG, and it is labeled gluten-free. It contains pork, water, less than 2% of the following: salt, sugar, dextrose, spice extractives, maltodextrin, garlic oil. So it's got a couple of ingredients that I don't normally include in my canning, but I want to get this out of my freezer and into canning jars because, God forbid, we ever had a power failure. We have 3 big freezers full of food that we need to do something with. And so I pulled out 10 rolls of this. I'm going to partially cook this. We're going to get it in our canning jars. We're going to get it processed. And you're going to come along for the ride to see how to do this and have Italian sausage on your shelf. So I thought this would be a great time and opportunity to share how I do some of the meat canning. I haven't done any this year, so let's get into, well, we did one with pork that was left in the freezer. So this is a fresh Italian sausage bulk roll, and I want to get it used up. So let's get it in our pantry. The easiest way to open these is just to score them down one side and then go around the middle of it and score it all the way around. And that way you don't get your hands as messy, because some of y'all don't like touching meat. So I will just pull this wrapper back. Minimal effort. Get that cover off. I'm going to do this with all 10 rolls into my big stock pot. And I'll show you what that looks like once we get them into the stock pot. You might have a little bit of meat left in these ends where they're pinched. You can just take a knife in there and get that little bit of meat out of there if you're inclined to do so. Waste not, want not. So we're going to get that in there. And usually I will get 10 pints. I might get 9 because I'm going to really stuff those jars once I get all this meat cooked down. Okay, I've got it in my pot. I've turned my pot on. I'm not going to cook this on high, but I am going to get it started cooking. And so I want to start breaking up those rolls. And I'll continue to do this throughout the cooking process so that we can get it into the jars, kind of like hamburger crumble. Now you could make sausage patties with this and can them just as well. So we might do that with some breakfast sausage. I hit my camera. Let me get around here. So we're going to get this broke up a little bit, get it started cooking. We'll come back when it's closer to being ready to put in the jars. So we've got that started. That's what it looks like, folks. Okay, I use a wooden spoon to pack my meat into my jars. And it looks like a lot of meat, but what you're doing is you're packing all the meat in there and getting rid of all the air pockets. Plus you're breaking up the meat as it goes into the jars. I'm going to turn the jar and make sure that it is completely packed. And I've got a little bit too much in there, so I'm going to take that off the top. So your jar should look like this once it's packed, with very few air pockets. And it should be right there at that 1-inch mark, or a little bit less. I'm going to finish packing these, and then we'll be back and we'll get them sealed and into our canner. Alright, y'all, we have been cooking this down for a little while, and I have broken it up. You can see it's partially cooked. I do not want to overcook this, and some of the fat has cooked off of this meat. I'm going to take care of my jars. I've got them over here heating with some hot water, and I have my canner heating also with hot water. So everything will be hot going into the canner, and we're going to get this canned up and get it into our canner. I am not adding any ingredients to this. It will be strictly meat going into the jar. The additional fats will cook off the meat in the jar and help preserve it. It's very important that you clean your jars with plain vinegar and a clean cloth, and you want to make sure that your food is not sticking outside of the jars. So I'm going to do this one at a time. I'm going to make sure I'm wiping the whole rim of the jar. Just really getting in there and making sure it is good and clean, because you want that lid to adhere, and you've got something that's got natural fats in it. Then I'm going to apply my lid. If I can get it to pick up. Never touching the gasket or the rim of your jar with your hands. 4 fingers on either, 2 on each side. Center that lid on there. Grab your canning band. 1 finger on that lid as you drop the band. We're going to finger tighten it. That means that it will not, once it's tight, it won't go any further. And we're going to get it into our canner. I'm going to go through all of these jars. We're going to get this canner loaded, and then we'll be back. All right, I was able to fit 6 in here because I can get 2 canners out of this. I am not going to do the rest of them in this canner load. Because these are wide mouth jars, I could actually fit 7 in here, not 9, and I had forgotten that. But we're going to apply our lid. We're going to wait for it to be at 10 minutes. Then we're going to add our 10 pounds of pressure for my altitude. Your pressure may be different. And then once that pressure comes off, once it starts jiggling, I will set my timer for 75 minutes. We'll be back when these are done. Well, y'all, it's still boiling in the jars. Look at that. And we have canning success because most of them sealed in the canner. Yay! These will sit overnight, and then in the morning I'll remove the bands, check the seals, wash the jars down, get them labeled and into the pantry. So that is 10 meals of Italian sausage ready to eat. Doesn't it look wonderful? Meat is one of the easiest things, I think, that you can can with a pressure canner next to beans. This is my canning adventures and my home canning 24. I hope you'll check out the playlist. I'll put the playlist in the description box below this video. Thank you, my friends, for watching, and be fully blessed.